Today, we're going to be talking about the British pub quiz, which is not just a game, it's practically a national institution. Every week, teams pack into their local pubs to test their knowledge on everything from history to pop culture. And apparently, they spend more time arguing about the answers than actually getting them right. In this session, we're going to be running a quick pub quiz before the dictation, 10 questions on British culture and history, and see how many you can get right. Then we're going to do a dictation. So you're going to need a pen and some paper because we do this manually. Yes, it's an advanced dictation to help you learn English and improve your spelling and listening. So, pen and paper ready? Let's go. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about a very interesting and cultural aspect of Britain, which is the British pub quiz. Yes, 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 yes. The British pub quiz. Now, everybody likes a British pub, I'm sure, but have you ever been to a British pub quiz? Question. You can tell me here in the chat. I'd be interested to know. Because pub quizzes are a much loved British tradition. They're usually held in local pubs once a week, and they bring friends and family and even strangers together. Okay, strangers being people who don't know each other. Okay, no stranieri if you're Italian. Foreigners, that's stranieri. So strangers, people who don't know each other. Let me just put this on Do Not Disturb. Um, yeah, it's a great opportunity for people to test their knowledge on everything from history to geography to pop culture and even sport, politics. The atmosphere is normally very friendly and yeah, it's normally very friendly, but also competitive. And usually there is a quiz master, and the quiz master will read out the questions with a microphone. And it's not just about winning prizes, it's also about sharing laughs, about debating answers, maybe enjoying a couple of pints, definitely enjoying a couple of pints on the way. And in many communities, the pub quiz has become a kind of social ritual, a way of connecting, keeping the brain sharp, and having fun on an otherwise ordinary evening. Yes, 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 yes. Is there a special word for pub quiz? I don't think so. They're just pub quizzes generally. Now, one of the fun aspects of pub quizzes is that people often come up with amusing names for their teams. So I thought if I can still work how to use this whiteboard, I haven't used it for ages. I'm going to show you some examples of, can you see the whiteboard, guys? Give me thumbs up if you can. Okay, perfect. I thought I'd share with you some typically funny names that people give their teams. Now, you can see a lot of them are play on words. There's alcohol related things here, and people try to be as funny as possible with their team names. So, for example, Agatha Christie, Agatha Christie, the Quizzly Bears. That would be a typical bit of British humour for you. No idea. In other words, a deer with no I, or no idea. What's the answer? No idea. I am Smarticus. I'm Smarticus. I'm Smarticus. I'm Brian, and so's my wife. Trivia Newton-John. Les Quizerables. Sorry to any French people there. Quiztima Aguilera. That's a good one though. Come on, Quiztima. Christina Aguilera instead of Christina, Christopher Columbus, and Tequila Mockingbird. Um, there you go. That's the British humour for you. And of course, a lot of people have think it's more fun coming up with a great name for their team rather than actually winning the pub quiz. So I thought to start, why not have a short pub quiz? I could ask you a few questions and you can try to answer them. How about that? Now I'm thinking, what's the best way to do this? I don't want it to become like a battle to who can answer first. So I think what I'll do is I'll turn the comments off. Okay. I'll show you the questions and you can either answer them in your head or you can write them down. But I think you can just answer them in your head. Okay. I'll show you some questions. I'll give you 20 seconds for each one and then we'll go through the answers. Okay. Just before we do the dictation. How about that, guys? Okay, so let's do it. Question number one. Which Roman emperor is credited with building a defensive wall across the north of England? So I'd like it in English, please, not in Latin, not in Italian. Okay, so which Roman emperor is credited with building a defensive wall across the north of England? The comments are off, yes, Mum. The comments are just hosts and panelists so that people can have time to think. Okay, question number two. Which English king signed the Magna Carta in 1215? Okay. Which English king signed the Magna Carta in 1215? Long time ago. That's in 1215, not at 1215. It wasn't that recent. Yeah. So which English king signed the Magna Carta in 1215? I'll give you a clue. He didn't have an English page. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Question number three. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the UK? The first female Prime Minister of the UK. I think you can still say female. First female Prime Minister of the UK. And we move on to question number four. What year did the Great Fire of London occur? The Great Fire of London. Anno Mirabilis. I believe also the Great Plague and many other terrible things happened in that year. The clue is in the number. Yeah. In what year did the Great Fire of London occur? And we move on to the next question, which is, which Scottish poet is celebrated annually on the 25th of January with Burns Night? So which Scottish poet is celebrated annually on the 25th of January with Burns Night? Okay, that's got nothing to do with firework night. Everybody getting burnt. So which poet? Okay, and we move on to the next question. It's like a Life in the UK test, this. Saida, you should get all these right. Question number six. Which queen reigned for just 9 days in 1553? Which queen reigned? That's exactly the same pronunciation as reigned for just 9 days in 1553. Hmm. Hmm. Any ideas? Okay, we move on to the next question, which is, What's the name of the UK's intelligence agency responsible for domestic security? What's the name of the UK's intelligence agency responsible for domestic security? Okay. And the next question, we got 10 questions altogether. Which battle of 1066 marked the Norman conquest of England? Which battle of 1066 marked the Norman conquest of England? That's the Normans from France. It wasn't a group of men called Norman. That would be ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. And the penultimate question, which British scientist is best known for the theory of evolution by natural selection? That's an easy one. Come on. Easy one. And we get on to the final question. So, as I say, if you can't write these down, just you'll remember your answer. Final one. What was the Good Friday Agreement of 1998 designed to achieve? What was the Good Friday Agreement of 1998 designed to achieve? Anyway, let's do it. Okay, so number one, the answer is the Emperor Hadrian with an H. Okay, Hadrian. Yes, Hadrian's Wall, of course, um, in the north of England to keep the Scottish out. It's still there, but it hasn't worked. Um, what else have we got? Next one, number two. Which English king signed the Magna Carta in 1215? By the way, the comments are back on, I think. You can now chat with everybody. Um, so the next one is King John. King John, yeah, great. In my opinion, one of the best kings um, that there was. Yeah. Next one. Who was the first female prime minister in the UK? That was Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady. Okay. No, it's not Charter. It's Magna Carta. No, Magna Carta. So Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher didn't sign the Magna Carta. That was King John. Next question. In what year did the Great Fire of London occur? And that was 1666. 1666. Terrible year, really, all round for people. Um, next question. So which Scottish poet is celebrated? That's actually Robbie Burns. Robbie Burns, which is pretty obvious by the name. Number six, which queen only reigned for 9 days in 1553? That was Lady Jane Grey. Lady Jane Grey. Next question. This is the MI5. The MI5. Not to be confused with MI6, who are responsible for foreign intelligence. Okay. Number eight is the Battle of Hastings. The Battle of Hastings, where Harold was shot in the eye by someone. And question number nine, the answer is Charles Darwin. And the final one, question number 10, it was peace in Northern Ireland. Peace in Northern Ireland. How many did you get right out of 10? Tell me in the chat. And in the meantime, you can get your pen and paper because we're going to start the dictation. Okay, if you got 6 or more, then you passed. You have the right to call yourself British. Your passport is on the way. Sorry, Minor. Um, Sorry, Joanna. Sorry, Monica. So 2 out of 10. You can't even have a holiday in the UK with 2 out of 10. Sorry. Elif got one. Okay. Well, that you know them or you don't. And just think, if the fewer you got correct, the more you have learned today, which means the more you have got out of this webinar, which means that you are the real winner. Yes, you're the real winner because you've learned more today. Okay, so guys, let's get on with the dictation. I'll explain briefly how we do this. I'm going to read a short text of about 100 words on the subject of pub quizzes. I want you to listen and write exactly what I say. It's a good way for you to practice your listening, your writing, your spelling, and also to pick up some new vocabulary on the way. As always, I will read each part twice to give you a chance to write, listen, and fill in any gaps. And at the end, I'll read the whole text again so that you can double check what you've written. At the end, I'm going to show you the text so that you can see what um, you've guys. I think a lot of you have still got your chat on hosts and panelists. So it must have automatically changed it when I put that you can chat with hosts and panelists. So don't forget to change your chat back to everyone. Okay. Sorry about that. That's my fault. And let's get on with the dictation. If you're all ready, give me a thumbs up and we can get started. Okie dokie. Here we go. The British pub quiz is more than a game. The British pub quiz is more than a game. Dash. It's a cultural ritual. It's a cultural ritual. Full stop. Every week, comma, teams gather in their local. Every week, comma, teams gather in their local. To pit their knowledge against rivals. To pit their knowledge against rivals. Comma. Fueled by camaraderie. Fueled by camaraderie. And the occasional pint. And the occasional pint. Full stop. Questions can range from highbrow history can range from highbrow history to quirky trivia. To quirky trivia, comma. And the atmosphere is a blend of competition and laughter. And the atmosphere is a blend of competition and laughter. Marcella, you put your hand up. Is there an issue? Um, Full stop. For many, comma, the pub quiz represents both social. Okay. For many, comma, the pub quiz represents both social connection and intellectual challenge. An intellectual challenge, comma. A reminder that learning can be communal and fun. A reminder that learning can be communal and fun. Full stop. End of dictation. Okay. So I see. Okay, that's the end of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read the whole text again so that you can listen and fill in any gaps that you might have. And then I'll finish by showing you the text. Okay? Okay, let's do it. The British pub quiz is more than a game, dash. It's a cultural ritual, full stop. Every week, comma, teams gather in their local to pit their knowledge against rivals, comma, fueled by camaraderie and the occasional pint, full stop. Questions can range from highbrow history to quirky trivia, comma, and the atmosphere is a blend of competition and laughter, full stop. For many, comma, the pub quiz represents both social connection and intellectual challenge, comma, a reminder that learning can be communal and fun. Finished. That's it. How was your experience? Any problems? So I'd say this was B2 level with maybe a couple of C1 expressions. So overall, probably not too difficult, but there may have been one or two words that weren't quite clear to you. Not very difficult. Camaraderie, is it IE or Y? Okay, I'll show you in a minute. Don't forget to put your chat to everyone, Mel. At the moment, it's just on hosts and panelists. Okay, let me show you the text. And this is what you should have had, or what you should have. The British pub quiz is more than a game, dash. I hope you didn't write dash, not DASH, please. Dash. It's a cultural ritual. Every week, teams gather in their local to pit their knowledge. Pit their knowledge is an expression for you. To pit. It's not put, it's pit. It's an expression. If you pit your knowledge against somebody, it basically means that you put your knowledge against somebody. But I'm not quite sure the etymology of this word. Mother, are you there? Maybe you could shine some light on it. It's like having the eye in the sky. Mother, tell us, not that my mum's in the sky, just making clear she can't fly, but it's good to have that oracle of knowledge that we can just call on. .com, yeah, generalknowledge.com. So where does this expression come from, Mum? To pit their knowledge against rivals, fueled by camaraderie and the occasional pint. This is how we spell camaraderie. Questions can range from highbrow history. So highbrow is kind of intellectual. This is what it means. You can talk about a highbrow book, for example, or something of that nature, a highbrow newspaper article. So it means intellectual, really. To quirky trivia, and the atmosphere is a blend of competition and laughter. Yes, for many, the pub quiz represents both social connection and intellectual challenge, a reminder that learning can be communal and fun. How did you get on? Okay, bye guys. Take care. Look after yourselves. Thank you very much.